One that is probably going to be a shocking revelation. Miranda Cosgrove's High Maintenance. Now, Jack, I'll let you voice your opinion first. What comes to your mind when you see this?
Man, that shit's pretty badass. Nah, dude, I didn't even know this was gonna be there. Like, all I can think about is like Drake and Josh fucking up and her being like boobs. So, I mean, that's pretty funny, but I don't know. That's gonna be somewhere between Gumdrop Buttons and Weenie Hut Jr. for me.
Oh my god, that's pretty great. I forgot that was her catchphrase. Yeah, I think, as far as pop artist covers go, it's a little more menacing than I would have expected, especially out of her. I don't know her songs very well, but I know of one, and it's way more, poppy than what this. I like the fact that it's not Pink is very surprising to me. I kind of like it as a cool couch, but yeah, it's still the face of Megan. You're absolutely right. There's no getting around that. So I think based on that factor alone, yeah, we're gonna go to Gumdrop just because it's not the worst. And like I said, there's no Pink, which I was expecting. Any argument there?
No, that's fair. I mean, it could certainly be much weaker for a pop album. I will say though that in hindsight, like there was a lot of inappropriate shit on Nickelodeon, but like, what if they censored the word boobs every time she said it, even though that's not what she meant? That'd be pretty bad. But Gumdrop Buttons on the low end, I think that's fair. Weenie Hut Jr. would be a little harsh, so that's good.
Agreed. And yeah, maybe somebody in Nickelodeon should have caught on to that pervert making an 11-year-old say boobs all the time.
Yeah, hindsight is always 2020, isn't it? I wish he were caught sooner, but
Yeah.
we just have to be more careful moving forward.
And always remember, Dan Schneider really supported the Padres. So, pervert's favorite sports team. There you go.
Got to get our buddy on here to speak on that.
All right. Next one, again, female pop cover. This is Miley Cyrus's Plastic Hearts. Initial thoughts.
I'm trying to judge this solely based on the art because I know that's the premise of our video right now. Even though there's a lot of pink, there's something. It's not great, but there's something kind of cool. The attitude of the art for me. I'd probably keep it in Gumdrop Buttons, but for me, it's higher than Miranda's. But let me know what you think.
No, I agree completely. I think I even be willing to put it right in the bottom of the C tier. I think the pink was kind of an interesting choice, but I mean, dare I say, she has a little sex appeal there. I think it is a very like 80s kind of mischievous. God damn it! Now I'm not gonna be able to say it correctly.
I think it does look mischievous and shit, and there is some sex appeal there, a lot of bad bitch energy. If you
Yeah.
wanted to put it in the low end of eating dry protein powder, that's some pretty tough shit. But at the low end, I think that would be warranted.
All right, so we'll put it down here. Yeah, again, especially knowing the actual lyrics and everything to the songs, it seems a little harder than I would have expected. All right, first, I don't know if it's fair to call them a boy band or not, but Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory.
Look, man, it's not the most badass thing, and people have their criticisms of Linkin Park. I appreciate what they've done with the mixing of two vocal styles, but just based solely on the cover art, I don't know, man. There's something high test about that. The dude wielding a halberd, just charging forward. I've always thought that was a badass album cover. Not the most badass thing, but I would say barbed wire necklace at least.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think the only thing that I've always found weird about it is why it's a set of 4 wings. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, and maybe there's an explanation for that. Maybe the band has a legitimate reason for that, and maybe they've talked about it, and I'm just not keyed in on it. But to me, I think that it would have been a lot better if it wasn't like I see that and I just picture a fucking dragonfly, and that kind of ruins the badass effect of it. But staying on the Linkin Park one, what do you think of the I don't even know how to pronounce that one.
So Meteora is cool. It's not bad, but it's not as strikingly badass, like high test energy as Hybrid Theory, in my opinion. Purely in terms of the artwork, I would probably go Eat and Dry Protein Powder on that one.
All right. Yeah, for me, I think that so like obviously it has like kind of the underground graffiti factor to it, and that kind of is badass. And I like how they left the power chords and like the ladder, so you can see that it's not just something done willy nilly. Like this is a professional at work. I think that that speaks like volumes. And not to knock safety, but just for the premise of our video here, the fact that he does have this freaking mask on protecting him from fumes does drop it a little bit. I mean, we gotta be honest.
He's an OSHA graffiti artist. What can I
Right,
say?
right. What's the matter? You don't want fucking pain in your lungs, you damn pussy? Alright. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I've never heard of anything off of this album, so this is definitely just judging it how it looks. For me, I think this one is actually pretty nice. I like how kind of she reminds me of the Bride of Frankenstein, but I like how it's definitely some sort of, you know, anguish involved, whether it be where they are or their relationship. I don't know. I think that speaks volumes to my black heart.
Look, I probably like emo music better than you do. We diverge a little bit in taste, even though we mostly like the same stuff. Um, I've heard individual tracks from this album, but I do know it's a concept album, and I don't fully understand the story. Maybe it would make more sense to me if it did. Based solely on the artwork, um, I like that some shit just went down. I would go somewhere between Protein Powder and Gumdrop.
All right. Yeah. For me also, and I don't know if this is just my monkey brain at work, but the white, black, and red color scheme I think is pretty tough. I don't know why, and I think that's going to be a common theme as I was setting up the different options here. I kind of noticed that, and I think this is one of the few ones that has that color scheme that is heavy on the black, and it makes it more menacing.
That's fair.
Alright, here's another one. I don't know. And I'm having to censor it. YouTube, obviously. But this is called Suicidal Seasons by Bring Me the Horizon. Are you familiar with this one?
I am familiar with Suicide Season, and I know what she's holding there, which definitely has a striking visual impact when you see it.
When I saw it to set this up, it literally turned my stomach, and there's no pun there. But yeah, I was like, okay, that's really disgusting, but it's pretty fucking hardcore.
Yeah, I know Bring Me the Horizon isn't like a metal band per se, but there's some death metal bands with just gratuitous amounts of gore and violence, which has its appeal. I'm sure they were going for like a contrast look here with the cute girl and the entrails and shit.
Yeah, agreed.
It just never it never hit me that hard though. I might go Eat and Dry Protein Powder on that.
All right. Yeah, I think that the contrast is definitely there, and again, this kind of does have that red, white, black thing I was talking about, but not in the way I would appreciate it. Alright, here's an album if you have heard anything off of this, I'll be surprised. But this is...
Oh, yes.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yes, I most certainly have.
Alright, well then I don't gotta explain it to you. That's pretty fucking tough.
Yeah, no, this is... I would say Barbed Wire Necklace at the very least. If you wanted to put it in Salty Spittoon, I could not disagree with you.
Alright, yeah, I think just the power behind it, because this is definitely something that no matter your stance, no matter your age, this is invoking some thought.
Very, very clever album. I would recommend anyone give it a listen if they like hip hop. I'm not the craziest hip hop fan, but I listen to the lyrics there and I think, oh shit, Kendrick Lamar is really clever, you know. So, but just based on the artwork alone, it's very powerful. So, good rating there.
Yeah, I think that meets the criteria that I look for when I'm trying to find something just based off the artwork. Is like, damn, that's a pretty fucking strong statement. All right, keeping the hip hop trend going, and we all know how I feel, but trying to remove the artist from the actual art, I think this is one of the most badass covers of all time.
Oh yeah, you know, I think of this as his darkest and most menacing album, but based solely on the artwork, you can look at that and more or less understand what you're in for.
Yeah, and so this is my artistic side speaking. You know, I do my graphic design stuff. I have tried to replicate something similar, and it is extremely difficult. So I think the vision aside, the actual physical making of this is so incredible. I always have thought it was freaking badass. And then the label right here, I know it's a little blurry and we can't see it, but like it's actually as if it was a prescription label. It's genius. I've always thought it was so badass. I really have always loved it. So, question is, would you put that in the top or in the second? I mean, I could even see it going the third. I won't accept it going fourth or fifth because it is pills, and pills are not the toughest thing in the world. I mean, if we're going to talk about suicide, pills probably the least badass way to go out. But where would you put this one?
Somewhere in the vicinity of Barbed Wire Necklace and Salty Spittoon, probably closer to Barbed Wire Necklace in my opinion.
All right. We'll put it there for now. I can accept that. Like I said, I think it is really cool, and it's one of my top, like just based on album, probably top 10 of what the artwork is. But yeah, for this list, I know it doesn't exactly hold the same. So now this is going to be a very interesting one. This is Beyonce's Lemonade album.
So, I have the benefit here of not knowing anything about this album at all. Based solely on the artwork, I don't know. It doesn't seem tough to me. It just seems kind of downtrodden. I don't know what the themes of the album are, but maybe that helps me here. I'd probably go like Gumdrop Buttons personally, unless you can fill me in.
Well, so again, just surface value, I would never know that's Beyonce, right? And in that case, I agree with everything you just said completely. Now, I don't know any of the songs on this album. I don't know anything about the album other than this is the first time Beyonce is kind of playing into that side of things where, you know, she obviously has a hairstyle that's traditionally for black people, and she is not making herself sexy on the cover, you know. It's nothing about look at me. This is more of like who she is supposed to be in reality. And SNL has a skit talking about how white people are afraid of this because, oh, she's going black. So taking that into consideration, it does make it a little more tough. I mean, obviously the I'm not sexy, this is who I actually am stance is pretty damn aggressive, and I do like that. But again, you'd never fucking know it was Beyonce unless you already knew. So I don't know how I feel.
That's a really interesting perspective. And yeah, I was so unsure that it was Beyonce. I was half expecting you to come out and say, "That's not actually Beyonce, you dumbass." How like you're playing a prank or something, and you totally would have got me. But like that side of it, owning that part of you, that does increase the badass factor for me.
Yeah, I agree. So I think once you take all that into consideration, it would be C tier, but because you have to know that backstory, and the point of this is just taking the face value of what you see if you pick up the record in the store, I think it's got to be D tier.
That's fair.
All right, our next one. This is a very interesting one. I'm just gonna let's get your thoughts.
Okay, I mean, that's a very cool Pink Floyd cover, but like, it's not. It doesn't strike me as badass though.
Right. I agree. But at the same time, I know the culture around it, and everybody does talk about how it is badass, but I've never agreed with that culture.
Mm, what kind of people usually call it badass?
Well, for instance, if you put into, Google anywhere, like most amazing, most badass, album covers ever, this is always no less than top 10 on their list. And they're like, it's so meaningful, has all this power. I'm like, man, it's pretty minimalist, and I'm not a big fan of minimalist ideas.
That's surprising that comes up that way. I mean, it's a very iconic album cover,
Right,
but badass, menacing, tough, it doesn't hit me that way at all.
right. So, would you be opposed to F tier here?
Sorry, Pink Floyd, you're great musicians, but in the context of this list, I don't disagree with that rating at all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that it is so iconic and everything, but especially when you compare it to this one, it really falls flat, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. Um, that that is some badass shit.
Yeah,
That's heavy. Um, Look, if you put that in Salty Spittoon, I can't push back on that at all.
yeah, I agree. And for anyone who doesn't understand what this is, the best way I can try to like put it in perspective is imagine if somebody put an image of the Challenger exploding on their artwork. I mean, I can't think of a better comparison.
Yeah. I don't know who your youngest viewers are, but they're gonna need that context. So thank you.
Yeah. And I think everybody still learns about the Challenger. It's possible that no one knows what the fuck the Challenger is, but I think a lot more people know about the Challenger than about the Hindenburg.
Exactly.
Yeah, so far, this white and black theme is definitely standing out to me. But here's another great one that has no similarities to anything else on the list so far.
Oof. Look, so freaking badass about that. You have Eddie, the band's mascot, controlling the devil himself. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it really is. And even if you don't know that it's the band's mascot, again, it's the first time you're seeing it, it's still somebody controlling the devil. But for me, something that really stands out is like, as I said, it's hard to find a theme of something that has bright colors, let alone all three of the primary colors that look tough. Usually, if it has those colors, it's something that really falls flat. And so to have such a brightly colored thing, especially back then, that still makes a statement that scares fucking any churchgoer and children, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pull off a colorful and tough album. I would say Barbed Wire Necklace at the very least.
Yeah, if I put it in our A tier, our Salty Spittoon tier, how do you feel about it?
That's good.
All right. I think that has got to be one of the most iconic when it comes to people in favor of censoring music. This always gets brought up, and how, oh my god, it's so satanic and it's so horrible, we can't let children near it.
Yeah, I forgot about the Satanic Panic.
All right. Here's one of my favorite albums, so trying to just look at the cover only. Ice-T's original Gangster.
I mean, that's some pretty badass shit, dude. And I don't listen to Ice-T as much as you do, but I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think if you would have left out this picture of him in the shackles about ready to fucking Hulk out, then it definitely takes away from it. But he put it there. It's fucking genius, and I think it's such a powerful statement. Especially, again, this is a little bit cheating because you're not going to know this at face value at the record store, but knowing that he actually was in prison and seeing that he's not just somebody who's talking out his ass, he actually has been in that position before and has probably actually looked like that, that's pretty fucking hard, man.
Agreed. Shit, man. Salty Spittoon's a good place for it.
I'd be okay with either that one or the barbed necklace, but yeah,
Um,
I think it's pretty fucking tough.
the only reason we'd put it in barbed wire necklace instead is because, as you mentioned, it can suffer from a lack of context.
Right, right. Yeah, I think because of the lack of context, because I'm sure, like, even my youngest brother has no idea what the hell this is. He probably look at it and think it's, like somebody like Lil Wayne who talks about a hard life while he's freaking driving down the street in his freaking Rolls Royce Ghost.
Exactly. But, it can go in either spot.
Yeah, I think just to be fair, because I was harder on some of the other ones, especially Beyonce's, we gotta keep that there. All right.
Okay, let's be consistent. Ooh,
Yeah,
what's this?
exactly.
Oh, shit. Oh,
This
shit.
is
Okay, I wasn't expecting this.
This is D12's album, and it's not anything super hard, but I think it's pretty artistic.
I mean, says a lot. Going out to conquer. I understand why Eminem would go on to apologize later, but I like it. I like it. I'm not going to pretend I've seen this before, to be honest, but um, shows a lot of power,
Yeah.
shows a lot of strength. Um, Maybe a bit simplistic, but still cool.
So this is gonna be weird coming from me who has extreme favoritism, but a huge critique I have is the fucking long fingernails, and I'm not sure if okay, zooming in definitely didn't help, but I'm not sure if you can really tell.
Yeah, no, I saw that immediately. I thought it was
Okay.
weird. Like,
Yeah,
why
this
can't you just have some dude's hand holding the earth? Why does it have to
yeah.
look like Dublin or some shit?
Yeah, I think it's a much more powerful statement if you just have like a giant buffed out guy holding it.
100%, like just some jack dude's hand grasping the earth powerfully. Like, we
Oops.
we know a dude with nails like that, and he's not exactly a badass. So
He's more of a
I
Minecraft YouTuber.
yes, exactly. Yeah. But in any case, take some points off for that. I'd say somewhere between eating dry protein powder and barbed wire necklace.
All right. Yeah, I'm fine with it being here. Like you said, maybe we'll go high end. Maybe we'll put it above those because I think it is better than those three that we have down there. But yeah, I don't think it's the fingernails really kill it for me. I mean, I gotta be honest, they genuinely do.
Yeah, it's an odd choice for sure.
Yeah, it really is. All right, now here's another picture. Thank you, YouTube. I had to censor it before I show it. Tell me, dear Jack, can you tell what is censoring it?
I have a few guesses.
All right.
Whose face is that? Anyway, so look, it's hard because this is such a kick-ass album, but I have to go purely off of the art and how badass it is. And oh man, I like the message it sends, but it's not the most badass thing in the world.
Right.
It's just not. Doesn't strike power. It sends a message, but honestly, dude, I'd go somewhere around eating dry protein powder or even gumdrop
Yeah,
buttons on this,
I
even
think
though I
it's
love them.
gumdrops. Yeah, I know. We're not rating the sound, we're rating the looks, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
first thing to note, that's Courtney Love's face that I put on there.
Oh, okay. I'm. You see, I'm looking at this through my phone, so that's
Right,
why I
right,
was.
right, right.
And I don't want to look too carefully, or else I'm gonna get in trouble. So.
No, I was pretty proud of that edit though. Um, no, what I think is that back in the '90s when this was released, okay, I won't do it. But back in the '90s when this was released, this had a much more powerful statement, and I think it was much more badass. Now with everything that's happened in the world and kids getting hurt all the time, I think this sends more of a message about that, and it was never designed to. That's just the culture we're in. And I think that also it's been like, The Simpsons had their recreation. It's been so watered down. Again, no pun intentional there. But it's been so watered down that when you see this in the store, if it's the first time you're seeing it as an actual piece of art, you've seen it somewhere else and it doesn't have that standalone that it should.
Exactly. It suffered from its own fame in that respect.
Yeah. Plus, didn't the kid turn out to be a dickhead? Literally.
Unfortunately, yes. That is 100% correct.
All right. Well, I feel like we got a pretty good list going so far. Aerosmith's Chest X-Ray or Tough Love. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this album.
Look, I mean, what? Uh, I mean, okay, I can't give it Weenie Hut Jr. I mean, there's it's going on, but I don't know. It's a little on the nose for me.
All right. I think this again, same thing like with Nevermind. When it first hit the shelves, way different context and way more of a statement than it is today.
Yeah, like not gonna lie, man. It just looks kind of silly to me.
Yeah. I think for me, and it's such a dumb critique because they wouldn't have been able to make it look good like this. But for me, look at how far the handle is into the person's body. Like, come on, how hard did they get stabbed?
So, I mean, I don't care to defend this album. If I had to think of an explanation, I'd say maybe he was stabbed from behind and the X-rays picking up on the handle. Like he got stabbed diagonally
Oh,
and then it's
that's a
picking up
great
on the X,
point.
but it's not inside of him. But like still though, it's kind of silly to me.
Yeah, 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 I agree. Again, I think it's probably not fair to judge it based on 2024 standards, but again, got to be consistent. So, where are we putting it?
I'd go Gumdrop Buttons, dude.
All right. Okay. Now, this one, Jack and I have discussed this a long time ago. It's one of my favorite memories of discussing music, and that's why he's here today. So I think we all know where it's going, and I think you know what it is. But I think this has got to be the undisputed number one.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude! This is easily like top five, possibly top three favorite album cover art pieces ever. The symbolism, the self-immolation, the dying for what you believe in. It's perfect. This for me, this goes at the top end of Salty Spittoon.
Yeah, yeah. I think undisputed number one, and if you disagree, there's something wrong with you.